What's up, everyone? I'm Emily Peters, your host, and this is the Sports Report. And I have a very exciting announcement today. That game that I teased last week between Madison County and Bozeman, I might be saying that wrong, in the semifinals. Well, Madison County is on their way to the championship game. They play tomorrow night. It's December 7th, and I believe it's at 7:30. I'll have to double check that and let you guys know on the other side of this interview. But they're playing in the championship game. They're 10-1. And I mean, what an accomplishment for this team. They are in their second year with head coach Bryce Harris, who I admire a lot. I went down and I spoke with him last season, and it was his first year in this head coach role. He played at Madison County High School. He coached there a little bit as an assistant a few years back, but he's back now as a head coach. And he said, I want to continue what the previous coaches have laid out here. I want to continue their success. And it's a tough program to take over. Madison County is historically a team that competes for these championships. And in year 2, he has brought the Cowboys back to the championship. So a huge congratulations to Coach Harris. And I mean, this season has been real wonky for them. They had the hurricane earlier this season, and that's the reason why we didn't end up having any of their games on our broadcast. I spoke with him on a Monday, and that's the interview you're going to hear in just a few minutes. But I spoke with him on Monday. The hurricane hit Wednesday, I believe, and that game was supposed to be Friday against Godby, and it didn't happen. It was canceled. Madison County has played the fewest football games out of at least the Final Four in that bracket in Rural 1. They've only played 11 games, and here they are with the championship on the line. So again, it's tomorrow, December 7th. I'm going to double check that time for you guys. But a huge good luck to the Cowboys and Coach Harris. And yeah, just congratulations on an incredible season. I think there is a lot to be excited about and a lot to be proud of, making it this far, given, the circumstances. So congratulations to them. And a huge thank you to Coach Harris for doing this interview with me. I'm not sure, at the time if, we were kind of talking about the hurricane, not necessarily sure if we were going to have the game, but, he sat down and had the interview and call with me anyway. So a huge thank you to him. Again, congratulations. And so, yeah, let's hear it. This is head coach of Madison County High School, Bryce Harris. So thank you for taking some time to talk to me and doing this podcast. I'm really excited about it. And it's year 2 for you. So year 1 is done and out of the way. Is there a certain level of relief, not necessarily in, you're glad it's done, but meaning, is there a certain level of pressure that's gone for year 2?
Well, I don't, the pressure's always there because, I want to win, and this community wants to win. So that pressure is going to continue. Last year was a little disappointing, and the regular season and the playoff run, we lost in the second round. I felt like we could have been a little bit better. So the drive to get better has been there, and but of course, anywhere you're there, the second year is always easier than the first. Kids start to get to know you. Kids start to understand you. They start to trust you. And so, and they've been in your system for a year now. They kind of understand what you're expecting. And so, I do think that the year 2 does make it a little bit easier, just because in that regard, I don't know if the pressure is off per se, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And I mean, a program like Madison County, it's incredible, and it's a lot to take over. But I guess reflecting on year 1, I know personally, I don't like thinking in hindsight too much, but if there was one thing that you could have told yourself before the season, what would it have been?
I mean, this wasn't my first rodeo. Last year was year 19 for me as a head coach. I've coached at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, been a head coach at 5 different places. So, I mean, I kind of knew what was going in. It's always hard that first year. You can come in and try to win right away. just take what you got and just try to win, or you can try to establish your program. And no matter who you replace, no matter where you are, there is that opportunity. You're going to have to establish who you are. And when you do that, the sad part is the seniors are the ones that lose in that situation. And so, you hate that. You hate that because they're so used to doing it one way.
Mm-hmm.
You come in, you implement what you're doing. A lot of times, we all struggle with change.
Right.
Kids struggle with change, adults struggle with change, we all struggle with change. And so that first time that things are changed, it becomes more difficult, and as things go along, it gets easier and easier. And so I don't know that I changed anything last year. I think a couple little things go differently, and that change happens on its own. We had 27 opportunities in the red zone with 0 points. Those 27 opportunities, you convert on half of them, and your record is totally different. And we lost a lot of close ball games, and just some of those opportunities that we missed probably cost us in the long run. And we played a great schedule, and our schedule was hard and tedious, and getting those guys to believe towards the end was critical. And I thought they did that. I thought our playoff run was really good. We had a really good chance to beat Union County. Didn't quite get it done. But if we roll through that one, we probably get at least to the semifinals. And so hey, then it's a successful year, but we didn't. So now we got to go back and we got to figure out what is it that we got to change to get back to that level of excellence that Madison County is known for.
Yeah, and you mentioned, almost 20 years of coaching, and you're still learning, you're still having to adjust certain things. And talking about last year, there were some opportunities, and it's all about finishing those. So what have you kind of learned from that and kind of applied to the team in the off season to, have better results this year?
Well, luckily, I had the pleasure of playing at Madison County, which is a blessing. It was a long time ago. It was over 30 years ago now. But being able to apply what we not being able to finish last year, we just had to get back to work. We talk about it all the time. Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it. And our theme this year is all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads to destruction. And so, what we're talking about is we don't want to just be about talk. We want to put in the hard work. So the guys really bought into that. We've worked really hard. They've had a great off season. Last year I came in second week of April. Didn't really get to establish that work ethic, January, February, March, which I think is so critical. And so having that time with those guys there, finishing drills, changing our attitude, changing the way that we handle things, understanding, what it is to be a cowboy, what it is to be a cur dog, and just having that mentality of we're just going to get after it. I mean, we're still not going to be the biggest team last year. I mean, I think almost every game we went into, we were smaller than the other team. Coach Co did the same stuff and was very successful with smaller kids. It just is what it is. Coach Carroll had the same thing. They were always smaller. Coach McPherson, they were always smaller, but they always played hard. And those guys, we take pride in playing 48 minutes. And so we got back to that. We reminded them all off season about playing 48 minutes, playing great defense, everybody getting to the football, finishing plays, finishing drives. And so that's kind of been our mantra in the off season. I think the guys really bought into that. We're excited about what we're going to put out there this year.
I definitely want to get into your history at Madison County. You mentioned that you played there, but first, something else that we talked about last year was your efforts to incorporate more of a passing game. Madison County has always made their money on being a strong rushing team, but being able to throw the ball. And, I remember talking with Jamie and, you guys were trying to get him more comfortable. That was such a focal point. Is that something that you guys are continuing to develop for this year?
Oh yes, we got a quarterback that, Jamie broke his leg last year. It kind of hurt us in the mid part of the season, and he missed 4 games, and I mean that was a quick turnaround. But he was blessed. We had an off week in there, and he came back a week early. Didn't quite go out 6 weeks, but that made a difference. And Xavier Bryant came in and did a great job. And Zay's a senior this year, and I think that he's the same mold as Jamie, and so we're doing some different things as far as his height, and people don't always understand that. When you got a quarterback and he's 5'8",
Hmm.
it's hard to see. And they're like, well, how didn't you see that? Well, you're sitting up in the stands, you can see it. He's 5'8". Everybody else around him 6'3", 6'4". He doesn't always see it. So getting him comfortable, seeing in windows, getting him to move his feet in the pocket, getting out of the pocket a little bit. Is key. And then also having the strong running game. I mean, I think that the Madison County, we don't want to lose that strong running game. We just want to incorporate being able to throw it down the field a little bit.
Hmm.
And I think that that'll take us to the next level where we want to be.
Our color analyst, Eric Llewellyn, also made a really good point with that transition with your offense. It's a big adjustment for the linemen as well. So what kind of exercises have you and your coaching staff incorporated to help with that transition?
Well, they've been working hard on pass blocking, pass setting. That's something that's not an easy thing when you're a run heavy team. Pass setting is not always the easiest thing to teach in the world. But at the end of the day, we're still Madison County. We want to punish you on the ground. We're gonna, that's our goal. We want to come out and run the football. But we've got to be able to take our shots as well. So
Hmm.
getting guys better and in the off season we've worked really hard. Those guys have spent extra time outside and working on their kick slides and things like that they can't just do it during the season. And so we've got a great group of seniors with Keone Nelson and Jason Ndablo, Jalen Cooks, really good guys, started all last year for us, and they've taken a lot of ownership with the young guys and get them ready to go.
I want to talk about you and your history with Madison County, as we kind of mentioned. I remember last year, something that we talked about was, in your first year, you wanted to do everything the Madison way, the Cowboy way. And I really admired that because, you could have come in and changed it up, but Madison County and you know the program. So how excited are you to continue to lead a program like Madison County?
Well, I mean, it's a dream job, and not only is it a dream job, it's a dream job for a lot of coaches in the state of Florida. But it's not just so much a dream job for me as it's also home. And so coming home and being able to go out there on Friday nights and we had the horse led us on the field. We touched the stone. We did all the great things that happens at Boot Hill. It was important to us to defend Boot Hill and not to lose there and make it into one of the hardest places to play in the state of Florida. And they've done that over the years. And so to take over a program that has had the success that they've had since 1995 is really, really special. It's something that I don't take lightly. It's something that is, of course, not an easy task. I'm the first head coach that Madison County's had that didn't come from on staff. When Bud O'Hara came in and turned the program around, Randy McPherson came off of his staff. When Coach Mack left and went to Lowndes, Coach Carroll came off of his staff. So the kids kind of already knew him. When Coach Carroll left, went to Georgia, Coach Co came off of his staff. And here I am, even though I'm a hometown guy and some of their dads know me, they didn't know me. I
Mm-hmm.
came in fresh start, and I'd been gone 26 years. And my first year coaching was 1996 with Coach McPherson, his first year. And I was blessed enough to be on that staff. I worked with linebackers, and here I go. I went all around Florida, went up into Georgia, did a lot of things, and chased my dreams of being a head football coach. And it came full circle, and I finally got to come home. And I don't take that lightly. I understand what the program is. I understand what it was built upon. I understand the coaches with the character that they had, and just how special this place is. And it doesn't matter who the coach has been. I tell the kids this all the time. There's McPherson won a state championship, Carroll won a state championship, Co won state championships. The one constant has been the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is we want to understand that their legacy, what they're leaving behind, is all about what Madison County is all about, and that's just a bunch of hardworking young men that want to make their community proud. And this group is no different. They want to do that. They want to carry on that tradition of being a Cowboy.
Just to build on that we talked about how the county just gets so excited for these games, and I wish so much that we'd come out and do a game in Madison County just to see the fans come out. And you said the kids grow up and they want to play for this football team, so it's in their blood, really.
It is, and the community is so supportive of their Cowboys. On Friday night, we talked about it the other day. It's almost a ghost town. If it's a Friday night football game, home game, I mean, you could probably rob Madison blind. It's there's nothing open, nobody around. Um, and so it's still that small town atmosphere, and there's a lot of great small towns in Florida that play football, and but I don't think there's one better than Madison. It's a special place. The atmosphere is electric on Friday nights. You have the horse, you have our band that does such a tremendous job. Artiga does a great job with those guys. We just have the cheerleaders. Ruth Ann does phenomenal with them. It's just a whole experience. The place is going to be packed. It's going to be electric. It's a lot of fun to come watch a game. I know we were one of the top 5 small schools to watch and watch a game in the Southeast for a while, and we want to continue that. It's also one of the hardest places to play in Florida, and we want to continue that as well.
It's so funny. I talked to Wacola's coach Cleese, yesterday, and of course they claim the same. They say it's a whole community event. The whole town comes together, and I would just be interested to compare, because I went to Wacola last year, so I did see, they do have a lot of energy, but gosh, I wish that we could come and do a home game for you guys, because it does sound special.
You guys going to have to come out here and do it. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, as a graduate of Madison County, you are such a role model for your team. You talk about it doesn't matter who the coach is, but you've played for that team and you know exactly what it takes to now lead the program. So, what advice do you give them to achieve their goals and, for their future?
We talk about it all the time. I mean, in Madison, it can overwhelm you. Football can overwhelm you. I tell them all the time, football is what you do. It's not who you are. You're not tied up into football, and God has a great plan for their lives. And some of them are going to go on and they're going to play football at the next level, and they're going to go on and do that. But it doesn't matter what you do. There's something special about you, and you got to find out what that special thing is. You can accomplish whatever dream, whatever desire that you have in your heart. It can be accomplished, and just start to name guys. I mean, you got Scott Phillips, who played for Creed, from little old Madison, Florida. You got guys who've gone to the Naval Academy. You got guys who've gone to the Air Force Academy. We've got guys that have gone on and played professional football, professional baseball. We've had, like I said, musicians. We've had artists. We've had guys that have gone on and done tremendous things from little old Madison. And you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish, but it's all about those the things that you learn through football. Football is not the end all. Football is the beginning, and the hard work, the dedication, the sacrifice that you have to make to be successful on the field is the same thing that will make you successful off the field. And so, we want those guys to understand you can get out of Madison County. You can go on and make something out of your life. Or you could stay right in Madison County and make something out of your life. And that's special too.
Let's talk about that team of yours that you've got this year. Who is standing out to you right now?
Well, I think J.J. McDaniel, we knew coming into this season, he had a great year last year. And he played sparingly at running back. And, that you were asking about looking back, I wish I'd have played him a little bit more at running back last year. But he had a role last year and he played it well. This year, going to rely a little bit more on him. Last week against Wakulla, he had close to 150 yards on like 6 carries, something like that. And, had a big 75-yard run right before the half. And, I think he's going to have a good year. I think Zay Bryant's going to have a good year. Trey Gilliard is Mr. Consistent. It's a guy that started for us for 3 years. He's a guy that has a ring from 21. Keone Nelson is a 4-year starter. That doesn't happen very often in Madison County. He's 4-year starter on the offensive line and also kicks for us. I think he's going to have a good year. I really like my 3 senior offensive linemen. I think some of the newcomers, Zakari Neal, is a little sophomore. Not a little, but he's a sophomore offensive lineman. I think he's got a chance to be really good. People will be talking about him for a while. I think, OJ Hodge had 130 tackles for us last year. He's going to have a good year. John Christian, Varian Terry at the two safeties have along with Trey, we do a 3-3-5, and so those three safeties, all seniors, going to have great years. They had good years last year, so I mean it's really exciting. We got some guys that are returning. We got some new guys. LJ Crumity is going to be just out of this world special. Zay West, their sophomores. Zay West is going to be out of this world special. Got a great group. Ryshard Miller at running back is a sophomore and going to be really, really good. I got a really good sophomore group. I'm excited about them. So it's just how can we get the guys with experience to mesh with the guys without experience, and can those guys with experience lead the guys without experience and get them at the level at which we have to play to be successful.
In that kickoff classic against Wakulla, the first time your team gets out there against someone else, it looked like quite the game. Was there anything that you learned specifically during that game?
Yeah, we got to cover kickoffs a little bit better. In the first half was the varsity half. We played a half of varsity, and then the second half was backups and JV. And so our first half, I was really proud of our guys. We came away 28-22, but we gave up 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns in that first half, where it would have been, we could have been a little bit better off than what we did. Coach Cleese and those guys do a tremendous job. And so I saw our guys fight, though. We got down 14-0. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and then we ended up throwing an interception going in on the 7-yard line, and they returned it. And the next play, they hit a bomb for a touchdown. So we're down 14-0. Our kids could have folded, and instead they fought, and they came back, and we clawed our way back and went up 22 to 14, and then they returned another kickoff for a touchdown. So it was 22, and then JJ broke the long touchdown run the next play, and 75-yard touchdown. So I just was proud of the way our guys continue to fight, continue to battle. Of course, we gotta get that right. Keone was out last Friday. He'll be out again this Friday, but that changes your kicking game. You work on that guy kicking all the time, and he's in the end or down at the 5-yard line for your starter there. And we went with a sophomore, and that's our backup guy. And it's a totally different thing. And when your guy goes down on Wednesday, it's a short period of time to change it. So, we've had to revamp that a little bit. I think we got it fixed. So I'm excited to see where we are this week and how we can continue to work.
I think anytime a team comes from behind like that too, it just proves that they can handle adversity and they will keep fighting. And I mean, that has a lot to do with your message to your team in situations like that. So in that huddle, what are you telling them in those situations?
Well, we talk about it almost every day. I mean, it's life is about how you handle adversity. So, when you hit adversity, you got one or two choices. As a team, you can either come together or you can fall apart. There's no other thing that's going to happen. So, we talk about it all the time, and we go through adversity every day in practice. As it's hot.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle that adversity? The teams that fold, the teams that don't go out and practice hard, are you going to be successful? Probably not. Guys that can handle that adversity, that can deal with that adversity and still be able to perform, you have a chance to be pretty special. And so we talk about that a lot. We talk about, we can't start pointing fingers at each other. We worked hard on, I felt like something last year, we talked too much to the other opposing team. We've worked really hard this offseason of not talking to the team, but celebrating with each other. And so I'm starting to see those guys really start to celebrate with each other, more so talking to the other team. And that builds that camaraderie ship that when things do go bad, we don't fold, we rise together. And so that's something that we talk about a lot is when adversity hits, what are you going to do? You're going to fall apart, or you're going to come together. And I think that's what they did the other night. I think that they understand it's not about how far we go down. It's just about playing the next play.
I love that. Well, Coach, I've taken up about 20 minutes of your time, so I don't want to take too much more of that, but is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we wrap this up?
I think we're good. I just appreciate you doing this. I think it's cool. We're excited about being again being on the game of the week, and we thank y'all so much for taking us a part of that. And I can't say enough that these kids, they work really really hard, and so when they get that chance to be on TV and to do those kind of things, I think it's awesome, and I appreciate y'all doing it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about doing these games is I can tell the kids get really excited to see all the cameras out there and, the big trophy at the end and all that stuff. So, I'm excited for you guys for year 2. It's my year 2 too. So we'll have fun together. But thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. You have a great day.
You too. All right, welcome back in here. And I did double check that game time for you, and it is actually at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So December 7th, 8 o'clock. It is a Thursday. I know it's a little weird, but Madison County versus Hawthorne. Hawthorne is the number 1 seeded team. So it's going to be a good one. And I am so excited for Coach Harris and the team. Another huge thank you to everyone over there, and congratulations and good luck tomorrow. So all of those wishes for you guys. Moving forward, as a Florida State fan, I don't know if I can necessarily do this podcast without at least just saying a few words about what's going on right now. And, it's a tough thing to talk about because I am a Florida State fan, so it's hard to not have any kind of bias in there. But I think the biggest thing that upsets me about this situation is, the political aspect. And I had a history teacher in high school, and she always used to say, everything is political, which is true. And you kind of learn that as you experience things and see things. And this is just a prime example of that. I posted on my Twitter and my Facebook and my Instagram story my thoughts on this matter. And whether you believe that Florida State should have been in the college football playoff or not, you can't deny that there's some weird stuff going on. Especially because at the end of the day, it wasn't supposed to come down to Florida State or Alabama. It probably should have come down to Alabama or Texas, which it would have been Texas. So I don't know if you were watching like me and you saw Texas in there in that third slot, you just kind of let out a bit of a disappointed sigh and kind of realized it's not going to happen because, that it just, to me, like the writing was on the wall kind of at that point. I do think it's extremely unfair. I was very upset about it. It is currently Wednesday and my Twitter is still flooded, which I honestly think it's a good thing. Part of me is kind of like, all right, I'm so sick of seeing this. It just makes me frustrated. I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't want to hear about it anymore. But the other side of me is happy that it's still flooding my Twitter because it's not going away, and, I was kind of having a conversation with some of my coworkers here, just saying, had they done the right thing and put, us in there at 3, Texas in there at 4, as it should have been, it would have been weird. And, Alabama fans, SEC people, they probably would not have been too happy about it, but it would have been old news at this point. It's Wednesday. I think by Monday, it would have been like, all right, and at this point, we'll never know if Florida State was strong enough to be in that 4th or 3rd slot. It's just impossible. It's over with. Do I think that Florida State could have competed with all of those teams? Defensively, absolutely, 100%. What we've seen of this team without Jordan Travis, I think they would have put their heart and souls into proving everyone wrong. And if they lost, it would have been a bummer. But we'll never know. And, and that's kind of like the worst part about it, is we'll never know. And we're just kind of stuck feeling wronged and cheated and all of that. And I think it's good that people are still talking about it. I don't think it should go away. I don't think that these people should be let off easy. I am doing my best to handle this in a professional way and not as a very angry Seminole fan. But it's tough. And I think it's just opened our eyes to, what's out there. So without saying too much and expressing myself too negatively, I'm with you, Florida State people. I'm upset too. And yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what happens with this bowl, if we play it or not. We'll just see, and best of luck to all of our players. Congratulations to them. See, that's the other side of it is, yeah, we're very upset right now, but you can't take anything away from a 13-0 season. These guys have accomplished so much, and we have been through a roller coaster in the last 6 or 7 years as Florida State fans. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, I'm so proud to be a Florida State person. I'd rather be on this side of it than the other side any day of the week. I love this team. I love the coaching staff, and a huge shout out to all of them. I am just so proud to be a Garnet and Gold person. So that's that. Next week, I am going to post the Godby interview from head coach Demario Jones. And he's another one that I loved talking to so much. I actually saw him on a podcast, and this was, towards the beginning of the season. And I was like, wow, like I have to have him on here. I wanted all of the coaches to be on here, but he was at the top of my list to have on here because of the culture that he's establishing. He has his priorities so straight over at Godby. He's just doing incredible work. And, what you see on the field is a fraction of what this man is doing. So I have the utmost respect for Coach Jones. I am so excited to post that interview. So stay tuned for that next week. And that's all I got for you. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Noles.